Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and thank you for listening to these few minutes here. You may or may not know, but I started speaking about 35 years ago, and since then I've given more than 5,000 talks and presentations, now in 79 countries all around the world. And the presentations differ. They're business, sales, personal success. But one of the things I've started talking about is the turning points in my life. And I look back and I realize that there have been turning points that after which I was never the same. And you've had the same thing. Everyone has had turning points where they go along, or they meet a person, or they have an experience, or something happens, and it's like going down the road of life and changing direction and never coming back to that point. Well, the first turning point for me, which is relevant to everybody, was the discovery that I was personally responsible for my own life, that nothing in my life was going to change unless I changed. And I still remember it was like a flashbulb going off in my face when I was living in a little one-room apartment and it was 35 degrees below zero outside. I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to take 3 buses to my job as a construction laborer and 3 buses back. And I'm sitting there one night and I realized that nothing's going to change unless I change. And that's the major turning point for an enormous number of people. Actually, the acceptance of personal responsibility for your life and for everything that happens to you is the mark of leadership. So that was the first turning point for me. And after that, you don't make excuses. If you're not happy with something in your life, you change it. If you are not happy with your conditions, then you improve them. But you just take control of your life. Well, that was my first turning point. The second turning point came about 3 or 4 years later when I discovered goals. And it hit me again like a flashbulb in the face. I was living on the floor of a friend's one-room apartment. That's all I could find. And I read a little something that said if you want to be successful, you have to have goals and you have to write them down. So I found a scrap of paper, and I can tell you, I was really poor at that time. And I wrote down 10 goals that I'd like to achieve. And of course, there are monetary goals and success goals and so on. And then I lost the piece of paper, and I got a job in direct selling, knocking on doors. 1 month later, I'd achieved 8 or 9 of the 10 goals. Now, the third turning point for me was when I discovered continuous learning, personal development. I felt like I died and went to heaven. I started to read book after book and listen to course after course and attend seminar after seminar. And I found that the more I learned, the faster I moved toward my goals. And the more I accepted responsibility for my own personal development and upgraded my skills and learned, I moved faster and faster toward my goals. Now, there's a remarkable opportunity that you have now. My friend John Assaraf is holding a brain-a-thon. Now, John is probably the best authority in the world on how you can unlock the powers of your brain to accomplish vastly more than you ever thought possible. He goes way beyond my simple approaches of responsibility and goal setting and personal development, and he shows you how you can sit at the keyboard of your mind and you can actually reprogram your brain like reprogramming a computer or like a guided missile so that you start to go straight towards your goals faster and faster and faster. And you've got to attend this brain-a-thon. It's going to have some of the great minds of the world in there showing you how you can literally shape your brain and become anything you want to become and accomplish any goal you can set for yourself. So if you want to attend the brain-a-thon, which I recommend from the bottom of my heart, please click on the link below and go in. You will be amazed at the difference it will make.